Hello. Right. Let me pull up my video. Good evening. I hope everybody's okay. Just trying to get the angle of my phone round, my other phone round a bit further so that I can actually see what people are saying. Hopefully we'll have somebody else here in a minute. Don't think we've got anybody yet. Oh, here's Alison. Hi, Alison. Right. I'll hold that up a little bit before we start. So this is a journal page that I made for my blog post today. So I thought I'd show you that, because I completely forgot that it was the end of the end of the month and the beginning of the next month. So good evening, Maxine. Yeah, so I should have done something for this month's challenge, but I haven't yet. But that's what I'm going to do tonight. Okay. So there's 3 of us at the moment. Just while we're waiting for a few more people to tune in, I thought I'd go for, because, let me show you my, somewhere here, I have got what I did for the challenge, thinking about black and white. Okay, so this was what I initially thought about as far as monochrome was concerned, just doing things in black and white. But then I looked up the definition of monochrome, and it says it can be shades of a colour, a single colour. So mono means one, chrome means colour. So yeah, so I don't mind how you translate monochrome. We can do it however you want to, basically. Yeah. I'm hoping we'll have a few more people join us in a minute. I'm just going to pop at followers on. Nope, no, that's not. No. Oh dear, Alison, I've done that before, I have to say. I don't know if I'm getting everybody's comments, actually. At the moment, my phone says we've got 3 people watching, so... Oh, here comes Kim. Hi, Kim. I think we've got a few more than 3, actually. Okay. Well, I'll get started, and hopefully we'll get a few more people joining us in a few minutes. Yeah, so I was just saying that's my blog post for today, completely forgetting that our theme is monochrome, but that's the inspiration that I put on for the challenge this month. But when I looked at what monochrome meant, it can be shades of a single colour, any colour. So I thought today I'd go purple. So I'm going to do something with some purple. And I had a little look and I decided, I think I sort of just did direct paper. So Fantasia was this one, and this one was Monarch. So I'm going to use Versafine Clair Monarch. And then I've kept out Wilted Violet and Villainous Potion because I think that's like a darker version of that. So I just thought those two. I put the that's Shaded Lilac. I put that one away because I thought it's a bit pale anyway. I'll stick with these. So I've got Distress Oxides, I've got Distress Inks, and I've got the Versafine Clair, which are all very similar shades of purple, as you can see by that. Okay. And what I thought was, I'm going to make, I'm trying to think what you call it, where you like make a big sheet and then cut it up into bits and use all the bits. But basically what I've done is I've got an A5 piece of watercolour card, and on the back I've measured out, that's not very well because that one's not straight. That's a 4-inch square. Then we've got a strip that will fit across a 6x4 card. Then these two will fit across a 6-inch square card. So I just thought, you know, I can get 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, 4 different cards at the same piece of watercolour card. Okay, that's my thinking. I'm not going to make them all tonight though. I will do one in full detail and then I will do the others later on. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is find a piece of, I was going to do acetate, but no, I'll use a acrylic block. So I'm going to smoosh some Wilted Violet and some Villainous Potion. So I'm just going to pop some colour on to the acrylic block, and then I'm going to give it a spritz with my water spray, which is here. Hi Dominique. And then I'm just going to turn it over, smoosh some on there. And then I will give it a quick dry. And then I'll add some more. Hi Moira. I'm glad you found us again. Okay. So I'll do the same now with some Villainous Potion. let's have a look at that. Give that a quick dry. Oh, thanks, Alison. So I hope you all had a good weekend. There was various karate events over the weekend, so all that lovely sunshine, and there I was in a room with no windows. Not for all of it though, not for the entire weekend. Okay, I think might just a little bit more, and I am tempted to find a piece of acetate. Let's find. Sure, I've got one here somewhere. I know. I'll use this one that's on the back of this stamp set. Right, we'll have a bit more of the Villainous Potion, I think. Go. I think I'm reasonably happy with that. Hope you can see it all right. I'll give it one last quick blast, and then I'll do some stenciling and stamping over the top. Turn it over a minute. Okay. Right, so now I'm going to use some of the. Right, I can't decide. What should we go for? Shall we go for tagging balls or shall we go for texture discs? So tagging balls come in lots of different designs. I've got some texture. I think I've got another set of texture discs somewhere. I'm not sure where I'll put them. They're probably on this table. What do we think? I think, just thinking those are probably nearer the size, aren't they? So we'll go with the tagging balls, I think. I'm just having a look through. Right, there's a nice one here from set 2, which are rather like. Let's see, what else have we got? Yeah, we'll have that one from set 1. I think we probably do for the minute. And I'm going to use, again, Distress Oxides. Right, first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to move that out of the way a minute. In fact, I will use one of my mats to ink onto it. I'm going to just, sorry, I keep having little mini craftalanches because I've got piles of stuff everywhere. Right, so I'm just going to put the ink onto the inkable. There we go. And then I'll give it a spray. Water. Move that back out the way. Move this back in, and then we'll add some of that onto that background. I'm just going to rub it over with that cloth. Then lift it up. Oh, not as much on there as I would have liked, but never mind. We can go again, add a bit more water. It doesn't matter if there's just like little bits of it here and there, it's fine. Okay, and then we'll do with the other one, I'll give that a dry first actually, and then the other one I'll go through it with the ink and add some. It's really nice the way I'll hold this up so you can see it a little bit better, but you can see it's almost like it makes a little shadow where the water's gone on it, like here. Almost dry now. Yeah, I think that's it. So then I'll pop on some patches of this one, and again I'm going to use the Villainous Potion. Hope you're not wobbling about too much with me using a blending brush on it. Okay, add a little bit more over here. And perhaps a little bit more there. Okay, that's beginning to look nice, isn't it? Sorry, I was wobbling you about there, wasn't I? I've got a bit of a lag today. I'm not seeing, I don't know if I'm seeing everybody's comments. It's all a bit the way we expect Facebook to be these days. Okay, so now I'd like to add some stamping. And I'm thinking I want to put some clocks in the background. So I've got the new stamps. So we've got time is free and wasted time. So I'm just going to randomly stamp some of these into the background. Oh, thanks, Moira. And you know, just add them to the background in the same inks. I think this time though, rather than using the Distress Oxides, I'm just going to use the regular Distress inks. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this big one on. And at this point, I have no idea where the lines are that I've drawn on the background, because it doesn't really matter, because it's just the background. Okay. So that one's inked up with Villainous Potion. I think I'll add half a clock on that end. Yeah, that's nicely. It's not, it's, you know, it's just background. Okay. I'll have a bit more. That's out of the way. Over here. And then we'll have some little ones in between and around. I'll use a different acrylic block for these. One's not quite so large. Everybody's gone very quiet, haven't they? Including me. Right, I'm going to go in with this little cog. Okay, I think I'm reasonably happy with that. Okay, so I'm going to get the paper cutter. I think it's time to cut it up now. So, if you weren't here at the beginning, I've divided the back up. So I intend getting 4 cards out of this. Okay. So I've got that one, and then these 2, which I know this line isn't straight, definitely. Oh, nowhere near. Right. I think I'll just move it over a fraction. There we go. And then we've got 2 strips like that. Okay. So with pieces like this, what I tend to do is I'll have a card shape or card in mind. So, oh look, I've got ink on that already. So that will fit nicely on that's a 5x5 card. I might, I'll perhaps have it that way up. Okay, then these 2, I'll probably have one as a vertical strip, maybe, and one as a horizontal strip. So that's 2 others, and then this one will fit nicely across a 6x4 card. So all of these will be clean and simple. Basically, there's a strip of stamped stuff, then there'll be a focal point, and there'll be a sentiment maybe stamped on the white card. But it's an easy way of doing like multiple cards from the same piece of stuff that you've played with, basically. Okay. And even that square, if you wanted to put it on a bigger card, you could do. It would go on that one just as well. Okay. So I think I'm going to just do this one this time. Just looking at a piece of that card, it's absolutely ditched. But never mind. It's fine. I never manage to keep things clean anyway. Right, so here's my bit of card, and I'm going to just grab a sponge a minute. I don't know, I've got loads of sponges, and at the moment they all appear to be green. And all my purple ones, oh, there's a purple one. There's a purple one, I found it. Okay, here we go. And I'll use Distress Oxide. It doesn't really matter, you can use either. But I tend to use Distress Oxide with my sponges, so I'll keep it to the same type of ink. And then I'm just going to go around the edge, just to darken it off a bit. A little bit more ink. So that's going to be the background on our card, like this. Okay, and I think I will stick it on. I'll try not to get any more fingerprints on it, but I will stick it down. Even though it will take me forever to peel the backing off the double-sided tape. Sorry, I'm off camera again, aren't I? Mind you, do you really want me to see me wrestling with double-sided tape? Don't know if there's something else happening on Facebook tonight, but we've not been very busy, have we? Only 7 of us. Okay. That's a bit of tape back in to get off. And then bring that card back in, and I need to try and get this fairly central. I'm just that way. No, that way up, I think. Okay, so that's our background sorted. And if, like me, you put fingerprints on it, you just basically add a bit more ink. If necessary, stamp over the white card as well. But generally, doing this around the edge takes your eye away from any escaped bits of ink or fingerprints, whatever. Okay, so there's our background already. Right, so I'm going to set that to one side. Oops, sorry about that. Clouding my camera with me. Another bit of watercolour card this time. So I'm going to move on now to using Versafine Clair. So the difference for those, I'm sure you all know who are watching, but just in case, Versafine Clair is oil-based and doesn't run with water, whereas the Distress inks are water-based and can be used to smoosh and to paint with and things like that. Okay, so I'm going to do my outline in this, and then I'm going to colour with the Distress inks, I think, not the Distress Oxides, because I want it to be quite nice and bright. I'll bring that in as well. Okay, and I thought to go on to that background, I would use the Sketchy Flowers, because I got them out to do my journal page and decided I definitely haven't used them anywhere near enough. So I thought I would use them again. So we've got one that's like a tulip or one that's like a daisy. Which one shall we put onto our card, do you think? What do we reckon? A daisy or a tulip? You decide. In fact, whilst I'm waiting, I'm going to stamp one of each. And actually, we could just put both. We could. We'll see. We'll stamp them both. Oh, we've got. Kim says a daisy. Moira says a tulip. We'll stamp them both and see what we think. We might even decide to put them both on. You never know. Okay. So I just love these Sketchy Flowers. In fact, I'm going to do 2 more because I've got room. Okay. Aren't they just beautiful? I love them. Okay. And I'll have some Villainous Potion and some Wilted Violets. And a paintbrush. find one that's a nice size. I've got big pot brushes and I can never find the one that I want. Oh, hang on, I might have spotted it. Right, I've got that one and I'll have a little one as well. Okay, and I'm going to put some water on here as well. And then I'll have a go at painting these. Right, to start off with, I've got it reasonably watery. And then I will put some shading on in a bit. Can you see that all right? Yes. Right. And then just clean my brush off a minute, and then we'll go in with this is the wilted violet. So there's not a huge, that's slightly darker than this one, but not a lot. And then we'll do this one as well at the end with the same. And then just going to add, let me just dry that brush off a minute. And slightly darker at the bottom. No, I've gone over the edge. Look at that. Making a mess of it already. And at the tops of the petals, which just makes it look a bit more shaped. As it gives that paler bit in the middle. These are not perfectly painted in any way, but it's okay. I'm cool with that. I've gone quiet again, haven't I? Not sticking my tongue out. Right. And then I'm going to water it down even more, because I'm even going to do the leaves in purple. Right, I'm reasonably happy with that. I'm just going to, because it's watercolour card, I can actually take off that colour that's gone over the edge there, lift it off with a cloth so it's less obvious where I've gone over the edge. I'll just add a little bit of very, very pale colour to the middle of the flower as well. There we go. I think that's about right. About done. That'll do us, I think. Move that out of the way. Didn't use my little paintbrush after all. Just give this a quick blast with the heat tool and then I'll cut at least one out. Okay, time to find my scissors. There we go. So, if you're just going to use one colour for the challenge, what colour do you think you will use? What colour will you choose? Because what you could do, you could enter twice, do a black and white one, and then do a couple of your favourite colours, couldn't you? Just leaving a small border around this blue. Dominique says blue. Kim's going to go for green. Lovely. Now, some of you, it depends what sort of a mood I'm in. If I feel like cutting round, which I'm going to do today, because I've left a border. But you could just cut up to the line, or the lines, because it doesn't matter if you go wrong, because there's 3 lines that you could cut along. And if you do that, then you could just cut those stamens off. It's fine. It looks perfectly good with the border or without the border. And there's nothing stopping you drawing your own in. I'll just trim that end bit off. There we go. Let's see what that looks like on that background. Oh, I'm liking that. Now the question is, do you think it needs something underneath it? I don't know if that's the right shade of purple actually. I've got another little scrap of purple here. What do we think? Or without? I think without. I think it looks better without, doesn't it? And we can either, I think it's fairly central. That's good for me. Right. What I am going to do, I think, just make it a little bit darker underneath that. So I'm just going to go straight in with the sponge and just add a little bit more colour to that bit. So that's better. It's standing out a bit more now, isn't it? So I think one is enough on that size of card. So all we need to do now is decide on a sentiment. So I think if we're sticking with the theme and it's got to be just one colour, it needs to be a stamped sentiment. But I'm thinking that the time sentiments that we've got on, let's have a look what we've got on here. We've got time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time. Oops, excuse me. We've got time is free but at the same time priceless, and time can be used and spent but not owned or kept. I'm not sure I want to use those. I want to use something else, I think. I'm thinking, let's have a quick look. Let me grab my, somewhere here I've got my wordage folder. Wordage, here we go. Wordage in the mixed messages. So let's have a little look. We could have a ticker tape sentiment. We could have something like dream big, or the time is now. Dream it, do it. Or guilt is a wasted emotion. Oh, sorry, I'm not showing you properly, am I? The best is yet to come. Be your own cheerleader. Hey sunshine. What do we think? Don't look back, it's not where you're going. What sort of sentiment shall we go for? Dream big. I like that one. Yes. And that will be purple. Right. So I'll grab that one. Well chosen, Maxine. Okay. And I'm going to use a scrap piece of white card. I've got some here. And I'm going to use the same Versifying Claire. Make that up. Ooh, had a speck of something on it, that's okay. What I will do, I do this sometimes, it's like, you know, when you don't look after your stamps as well as you should. End up going back in with a paintbrush and covering up the splotch. There we go. What I will do is give that a quick dry with a heat tool, because otherwise I'll put my fingers in it. Get my big scissors out to cut this out. So I'm thinking something like that. So I will stick those on and then put the finished card onto the group. But just so you can see, another possibility with the square cards, you could put your strip of card across and maybe have those 3 flowers on the top. Something like that would work, wouldn't it? Yeah? Or where's that other one? There we go. It's the little bit and a 6x4 card. And then you could do something similar with that. So there's lots and lots of different variations that you can go for. Just using your sheet. I will remember. It'll come to me probably in a couple of days what you actually call it when you do the big page that you then cut up and use all the bits. Yeah. But that's today's card. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you again very soon. Okay, take care, and I will... Oh, don't forget, tomorrow I believe it is Bev in Crafting Together with All Brands, and then there will be a live on TikTok on Friday. Okay. All right then, take care. Bye.